Currently in Daggerheart, your hit points and evasion come from your class. I would have preferred an approach like Vagabond, where these things are calculated using your stats. So hit points could come from strength, and evasion can come from your agility or your spellcasting trait. This would do a lot of work to enhance the diversity we see coming from one class. Not every wizard is built of tissue paper. You choose from one of two subclasses when choosing a class. I think that's brilliant. I do not want a class to ever have more than two subclasses. I love that if you pick up a book with a class in it, everything there is to learn about that book is in that product that you picked up. So you don't have to worry about all of the subclasses and other supplements. You have the core rulebook? Good. You have all the subclasses available for the core classes. You picked up a class in another supplement? Good. You now know everything there is to know about that class. Because I think even if a class is like the first of its domain, I would hope that its domain cards and features are included in the same supplement, right? I hope that when the Warlock comes out, the Warlock class and domain are in the same book. I hope that any other Dread domain classes are also a part of that same book. I don't want it to be a case where it's like, oh, I get let's imagine there's a second Dread domain class. I don't want to go like, okay, I bought the Witch. Now I have to go and get the Occult book that had the domain features in it because those two things are sold separately. If a new domain is added, I want all of the classes using that domain to be a part of the product that added that domain. Next, I want that domains are not releasing on a very frequent basis. I want there to at least be a 2-year gap between a new domain coming to the game. I'll love it even more if the gap is longer than 2 years. I just want there to be a very slow introduction of new domains. Why? Currently, we have 9 official domains. Yes, the Dread domain is in playtesting, but I'm not counting it yet because playtesting does not mean it will be released. So we have 9 official domains. That allows us to have 81 unique combinations of 2 domains. That's 81 classes. Also, it's more than 81 classes because you are allowed to repeat combinations. So I'm thinking, let's explore everything we could possibly do with 9 domains before we think of a 10th, before we even think of an 11th. Let's fully explore this phase of design. If we continuously add new domains to Daggerheart, it's gonna devalue them. It all, like, when you add too much content into a system, the content just becomes noise. It becomes forgettable. But when you have these iconic 9 domains, you can get very familiar with them and so on. So yeah, I hope Darrington Press is very intentional about how they go about expanding this game. That's my biggest fear for Daggerheart. I see its potential to be the next big thing, but it all comes down to how Darrington Press plays their cards from here. But I'm willing to trust them because so far they've shown that they're very pro-consumer. They've made this game very accessible, like through the SRD, through that demiplane, through they have official videos that are teaching you how to play. They aren't relying on third parties to come in and teach their game and provide fixes for the game. They're doing the work to make sure that people can understand and hop in and have fun. This is a company that I think deserves your trust. Lastly, I want to talk about multiclassing. I've greatly praised multiclassing before. I just want to say that originally I thought that you could have up to 3 classes, but since then I have learned that if you multiclass once, you're not allowed to multiclass a second time. Meaning, I could be a wizard sorcerer multiclass, but I can't go wizard sorcerer guardian. Like I can only have a second class. I can't have a third. And that was a bit disappointing to me because I love the notion that I have like 3 choices. I could gain the mastery level of my subclass, or I can have the specialization level of one subclass and the foundation level of one subclass, or I could have 3 foundation level subclasses. You know, I loved how I love those 3 paths we had, but turns out those paths aren't real. There are only 2 paths. I either have a mastery level subclass, or I have a specialization level subclass and a foundation level subclass. That's not bad. I'm more than what could have been. And this can easily be addressed in a campaign frame. So again, this game is great. I recommend you check it out.